All right, this is our next episode of True Wrestling Fan Discussions, continuing our Monday Night Wars review series. It's going to be round 8, October 23rd, 1995, Raw versus Nitro. I'm your host, Mike.
I'm Frank. It's really not much of a fight right now, considering I've always said that Bischoff did it all backwards. His Nitros were like pay-per-views most of the time, and his pay-per-views were pretty much like what Nitro should have been. But on this particular night, if Monday Night Raw would have had their opening match as their main event, I might make an argument to say they could have possibly beaten them. But I'm already saying this: Nitro won tonight. Spoiler. But stick around. I'm going to tell you why.
All right, let's go. Let's get into it.
Yep. Huntsville, Alabama for Nitro. Brandon, Manitoba, Canada for the next 6 weeks for Vince. I never understood that, but whatever. That's Vince's business. This was also the night after In Your House, where Diesel I believe he was disqualified against the British Bulldog thanks to Brett's interference. Sean drops the title to Dean Douglas. Razor Ramon wins it.
Right.
Raw's having a...
Brett and Diesel were going at it.
Yep. They had their I can't really blame Diesel because at this point we documented this. Right now he's on a losing streak. Big Daddy Cool's losing his cool, and this pretty much sent him over the edge with Brett being at ringside. And of course, like I said, Sean dropping the title to Dean Douglas, Dean losing it to Razor Ramon, and now Raw they're having a number one contenders battle royal to decide who faces Razor Ramon next week for the title. So let's kick it off with Monday Nitro. Opening match, and I didn't understand this, especially when this guy is dangerous. 6 days before Halloween Havoc, Macho Man Randy Savage facing Kurosawa.
Yeah, he was kicking Macho Man's ass.
Yes, he was dominating that match,
yeah.
And they were talking about Randy Savage with a possible arm injury, and that's why it didn't make any sense to me why it is that, okay, you have Savage facing Kamala, supposedly, we know he doesn't, at Halloween Havoc, and if he wins and Lex Luger beats Ming, they're going to face each other later on in the evening. I just didn't understand why putting him in a match like this so close to the pay-per-view. But like I said, Kurosawa was dominating the match. They kept talking about what he did to Hawk's arm a few weeks back, or back in the summer. But Randy Savage did what only Randy Savage can do. I did like the fact that I laughed at this. Kurosawa botched that baseball slide coming out of the ring so bad. Not to mention, when Savage got him ready for the elbow drop, Kurosawa just decides to scooch himself over a few feet so Randy can hit it. Randy hits the elbow drop and gets the victory over Kurosawa. So now we move over to the opening match of Monday Night Raw. Number one contenders, Battle Royal for the Intercontinental Championship. The participants are Owen Hart, Aldo Montoya, Bam Bam Bigelow, Barry Horowitz, Bob Holly, Jesus, Duke the Dumpster Droese, Fatu, Hakushi, Henry Godwin, Hunter Hearst Helmsley, Isaac Yankem, Jean-Pierre Lafitte, King Kong Bundy, and I forgot he was still around at this point.
Yeah, I know.
And it's really embarrassing about him. I'll get to that in a second. Marty Jannetty, who was so confident that in his pre-recorded comment, he goes, "I'll see you next week, Razor."
Yeah, I was rooting for Marty. Too. I was rooting for him.
Yeah, but Gat got in the way. Then you had Rad Radford, Savio Vega, Sid, Skip, 1, 2, 3 Kid, all in the Battle Royal. Really, you look at this Battle Royal, and there's only like a handful of guys that you're going to look at and go, okay, realistically, they're going to win.
Yeah, I thought it was fun, though. I thought the Battle Royal was entertaining. I thought it was good.
It was, which is why I'm saying that if this was their main event, I would have debated who won this overall night. It was pretty sad that King Kong Bundy went out literally 15 seconds into the Battle Royal, 6 people eliminating him. People going out left and right. It came down to the final 4, which was Owen Hart, Marty Jannetty, Savio Vega, Jean-Pierre Lafitte. Lafitte being in there kind of shocked me a little bit. And, of course, it comes down to Owen and Jannetty. Yeah. Owen's not going to win this legitimately.
He just kept surviving. Owen kept surviving because Marty almost had him out a bunch of times. He was holding on to the ropes.
It was very impressive.
That was good stuff.
By Owen. Yes.
Cornette on the outside.
Yep. And then, of course, he goes through, they go through the middle rope. They're on the outside. All of a sudden, here comes the British Bulldog attacking Jannetty.
Yeah, because Jannetty, like you said, Jannetty.
Jannetty
had gotten thrown out, but it was through the middle rope. He wasn't eliminated. And then he went after Cornette, and then Bulldog attacked him.
Yep, he throws him in there. Jannetty just didn't have anything left, and Owen eliminates him. So Owen Hart is the number one contender for the Intercontinental Championship. And following that, Jerry Lawler had interviewed Owen Hart about the IC title match. And of course, Owen's using Brett's slogan. So we still got this rivalry going almost 2 years now.
Razor's the fourth-time champion at this point?
Yes, he is. Set the record the night before. So Owen and Razor will do battle in the main event of Monday Night Raw next week. So
it's funny. I saw an interview with Shane Douglas recently, a shoot interview. He said that Shawn was fine, that he wasn't hurt. Like, he was hurt for a little bit, but that he could have wrestled that night, and that they put makeup on him and everything. Those weren't actual bruises. And that
I believe
basically Shawn didn't want to lose to him. Is what it was.
I believe it because I'll say it now. When they interviewed him later on in the evening, you notice his bruises were healing way too fast.
Yeah, I think I could be wrong. I think Shane was supposed to beat. He was supposed to beat Shawn, and then Shawn was going to beat him like at the next pay-per-view or something. But Shawn didn't want to. He didn't want to do the job, and so that's what ended up happening with Razor. And they're like, he told the story.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Because if you look at Shawn's eye In Your House, the black eye, and then you look at him in this interview tonight, dude, black eyes don't heal that fast overnight.
Yeah, no, it was makeup.
Yeah.
He spoke about it. It was messed up, too, because Shane told the story that I think it was Scott Hall that told him that Scott Hall was drunk somewhere, like, right before that, and he was like, oh, congratulations, you're winning the title. And he's like, oh, really? But he wasn't sure if he was serious, I guess. And then the next day, Vince is telling him, yeah, you're going to win the title tonight. And then, like, he sees from the corner of his eye that, like, Scott Hall was there. And then he's like, oh, yeah, but Scott Hall's going to go over on you. So he's like, what?
So what was the point?
What was the point? Yeah.
They should have never forfeited it to him. They
we spoke about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Should have been vacant. It should have been a vacant title, yeah.
Let the two of them.
Why
have Dean Douglas will go down as champion for about 8 minutes, which is ridiculous. So, moving over to Nitro, following the opening match, all of a sudden the lights went out. Here comes the master on the video board. He appeared calling out for Sullivan. And then on the stage, all of a sudden, this big iceberg appears, and they're talking about the insurance policy, the Yeti.
Oh, that was bad, man.
That was really bad. And so was the ending. Yeah. It was almost like an NWO and a Here Comes Sting, we got to go thing. We'll get to that in a little bit. Then following that, Mean Gene Okerlund interviewed the Giant and Kevin Sullivan, how confident they are going into Halloween Havoc that the Giant's going to beat Hogan for the WCW title. And then, of course, Mean Gene then interviewed Hulk Hogan and Jimmy Hart.
Dark Side Hogan.
Yes, he called out Savage, Luger, and Sting, saying, little dogs better get on the porch.
Yeah, he was talking about Sting wearing the yellow and red.
Yeah, and the goatee.
The colors. He's
sporting that full man shoe.
This is actually entertaining, though. This wasn't bad. He rips off the. You know what's funny? As I'm watching, because I haven't seen this in years. So as I'm watching it, I'm like, oh man, they shouldn't have Hogan with that collar on because it's kind of taken away from him being threatening, you know. And then sure enough, he took it off, and I'm like, oh, I was like, I should have booked this damn thing. He took it off, and then he references O.J. Simpson. He says he talks about you know what a guy with black gloves is capable of, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
But he made one comment that I was actually impressed with and wanted. He said that he could beat them all.
Yeah.
Well, ever since Luger showed up, it's like I want to see Hogan fight Sting, Savage, Luger for the WCW title. I don't want you having a little Hulkamaniac faction with them. I want you guys, let them win a number one contention. Yeah. Let them face Hogan. And in a couple of weeks, Hogan will face Sting.
Yeah. It's tricky with the baby faces, though, but I know what you're saying. I would have liked to have seen it.
Yeah. So now we move over to Monday Night Raw's next segment. They showed the night before what happened In Your House with Bulldog and Diesel, Bret Hart doing the commentating, both guys. You know, Diesel pushes Bret. Bulldog attacks Bret. Bret gets in the ring, and then the whole melee between Diesel and Bret. And then Doc Hendricks had announced that at Survivor Series, Diesel will defend the championship against Bret Hart. Finally, they're doing something with Bret. Plus, he announced the wild card match, which I actually enjoyed this at Survivor Series. I thought it was kind of cool
interesting.
That they did it.
I would have still preferred a final Survivors match, but
grand finale. Yeah, ever since the first one, I always wanted to see that again.
They should have brought it back, but this was cool. It was different.
Yeah, you had Shawn Michaels teaming with Psycho Sid, British Bulldog, and Ahmed Johnson versus Captain Dean Douglas, Yokozuna, Razor, and Owen. And I feel bad for Razor on that team. But Ahmed had the pre-recorded comments that said, "Don't worry, Sean, I got you. I got you. Like Sean needs another insurance policy here or something." But at Survivor Series, that match was pretty interesting. Next match on the card for Monday Nitro was supposed to be Eddie Guerrero and Alex Wright versus Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko. Alex Wright, with a knee injury on crutches, escorted Guerrero out to the ring with his replacement, Mr. JL. I thought this match was pretty good. Like I said, I love when Malenko, Benoit, Guerrero in the ring.
You're always going to get a good match from those guys.
Oh, yeah. And this is a nice little feud that they've started with upon their arrival in WCW. And this is where also during this, Bischoff had announced during the match that there was a fight in the back. Scott Norton and the Shark. Norton's still a little peeved a few weeks back that Shark cost him a match.
And Shark takes off, right, after this?
Yeah, the rest of the dungeon is fighting off Norton, and Shark's already gone. But they'll have their match the following week on Nitro.
No. What I meant by that was when does Oh no, it's Kamala that quits. I'm sorry.
Kamala's gone. Yeah.
Yeah. My bad.
But no, you see Shark kind of running away from Norton back then, and the Zodiac and the rest of them are over there. So like I said, they'll face each other next week on Nitro. Now, naturally, during this match, the referee was distracted. Alex Wright tripped up Malenko with the crutch, and JL rolled Malenko up, and Guerrero and JL get the pin. The upset victory over Malenko and Benoit. And believe me, this feud is not over, not by a long shot. And then, of course, after the match, for whatever reason, Brian Pillman attacks Eddie Guerrero. I don't know where they're going with that one. Because you're already in a work right now with Flair and Sting.
With Flair, yeah.
And now you're doing something with Guerrero.
They just planting some seeds. I mean,
Yeah, hoping they'll grow. But I don't know. So, going back to Monday Night Raw, if I really have to, the next match on the card for them was Brian Walsh, against Avatar.
For those that don't know,
Al Snow.
Yeah.
Leaf Cassidy.
Yeah, and
whatever you want to call
him. He puts the mask on after he comes out.
Yeah. After the fact, and then does its whole transformation.
Right, yeah.
This match had nothing but botches in it, by the way.
Yeah.
From Avatar, and I mean this was a complete shit fest. Yeah. From top to bottom.
I'm telling you, man, these jobber matches are really hurting. Hurting Raw.
Exactly. After almost 3 years being on the air on Raw, you shouldn't be doing this anymore.
I mean, especially now you're going head to head with Nitro.
Exactly. And the other thing that's hurting them is the fact that your world champion has appeared only once since Nitro's been on the air.
Yeah.
That's what's hurting you as well. Meanwhile, Hogan has made various attempts. Yeah. He's wrestled
for the most part, yeah.
Or he shows up, cuts a promo, yeah. But no Diesel. They're talking about what happened in Your House. Diesel should have opened this night, coming out and addressing the elephant in the room with Brett.
Oh, they couldn't. They couldn't though. Wait, is this live? This one?
No. These were all taped. That's the other problem.
That's the other problem because they were trying to save money because it's more expensive to do it live. Eventually,
yeah, because they did several shows in Manitoba at this point.
As we know, it does become live. So
yeah. So I mean, Avatar, he stomps on Walsh and then a splash and a pin, and the crowd's looking around like, "The hell are we do? We paid for this?" So another disappointing gimmick by Vincent Kennedy McMahon. So going on now, to the main event of Monday Nitro, which was a really good one. This is why I said the Battle Royal should have been the main event. It could have rivaled this.
It really should have. But
Lex Luger and Sting versus Harlem Heat.
I always love seeing Sting and Luger together, man. And it's funny seeing Sting with the red and yellow with the goatee, man.
Yes,
it's a different look.
And of course, I love Harlem Heat coming out. Sister Sherry, she fit in with them. I love the whole thing. This match was really enjoyable.
No, it was entertaining, yeah.
I love how at ringside she's pulling out photos, Polaroids of her and Rob Parker. Oh, my God. I could never understand that gimmick that they did.
Where the hell are the American males, man? We saw
next week.
Okay. Because we
saw the main event. Spoiler, next week's main event on Nitro, it's Luger and Ming against the American males.
I'm like, come on, man.
I gave it away. I can't.
Yeah. No. I'm saying, like, they started off with a bang, got the tag titles, and then have we seen them since? I could remember. We're doing this every week.
Announced them for TBS Saturday night.
Okay. There you go.
But they will be on Nitro next week.
All right, let's go. American males. All right.
Oh, Lord. And then of course Luger and Bagwell facing each other. Gotta love it. Later on, they're totally buffed. During this match, Booker missed the Harlem Hangover on Luger. He actually got some pretty good aerial time there. I was really impressed with that. Sting with a flying clothesline on Booker T. That's how he wins it gets the pin on that one. Now here's where it all goes to hell at this point. This is a typical Nitro. This is almost like an NWO segment. After the match, Sullivan and Giant came down. Giant choke slams not only Sting but Lex Luger.
So this was actually good. This was actually good because the whole thing before this, when Macho Man was talking about, was that leading in up to this, was that they never did anything to Luger. How can I trust Luger? And they were questioning Sting too. So they finally got Luger, and then they got Sting.
Now the fans are all like, "Wait a minute, what just happened?"
Going on? Yeah. This is good. I like this. I like this.
I really did, because it throws you off. Now you don't know what to expect.
I really, this is good storytelling. Even though we spoke about this, the dungeon is corny, but there's good stuff. Believe it or not,
this is the part of the dungeon that's not corny, but we'll get there.
Right. Because the Giant was believable.
Yes.
So there's good stuff within this. It's just a lot of
cheesy garbage that comes later.
That's the problem. Yeah.
So Savage comes down. Then
Savage wasn't afraid. Macho wasn't scared either.
Macho Man's psycho in the ring. You don't know this by now? That boy's got few screws loose.
I love Macho Man.
He don't care how big you are.
He said the hell with this. He came out. He went out there.
Remember back in the day when he was 220 pounds WWF champion facing Andre the Giant? He didn't care. He charged after Andre. He does not care how big you are. So now Hogan comes down minus the neck brace.
Yeah, and he's like,
Savage is trying to stop him,
and he's trying, and then Hogan's telling him to stand down, that he wants a one-on-one.
I got this.
It was actually pretty good.
Doug Dillon's just getting in the ring trying to break this up.
Did he come with like a flapjack? He came in there with a flapjack. It was crazy.
Yeah. And then, of course, all of a sudden, just as they're going off the air,
they touched him, and they went at it. Him and Hogan actually.
Hogan was beating the hell out of him.
Yeah, they actually went at it. Because he hulked up. He went down first. He hulked up and everything. Then, then just chaos ensues. But then, like you said,
big iceberg breaks, and just as they fade the black, you kind of see the Yeti,
the heat jump, the mummy,
come out of there,
and that's it. And they go off the air.
Typical of NWO attack. Here comes Sting. We gotta go.
But the thing is, you didn't need we said this in Halloween Havoc. You didn't need the Yeti, in this Nitro episode.
We didn't need him this night.
Need him. Even tonight, you don't need him. No, this was the good.
This was too early.
This was a really good. It should have ended with all security and everything holding back.
Them up.
Yeah, and them trying to get at Hogan and Giant trying to get at it. I think that's the perfect lead up into Halloween Havoc.
Yeah. But breaking the iceberg now and not showing anybody what he's going to do doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But that's all right, because this segment will still beat the main event of Raw.
Yeah. So
trust me, because now going to the main event of Raw is for the women's championship, because there's only 2 women in the division anyway.
Yeah.
Bertha Faye defending the title against Alundra Blaze, which, by the way, I've got to say, even though Alundra does what she does in a couple of months, she's got to ask herself this question. Where did her wrestling benefit more? Did it benefit in WCW, where she never had a match?
Yeah, but she didn't know that, though. That's hindsight's 2020, man. They probably sold her a bill of goods and said, "Hey, we're gonna have a great women's division."
And they never did.
And of course, the pay was probably good, I'm sure. But I know what you're saying, though. But the match. What do you think about the match?
It was crap. Yeah. It was the same as it was at SummerSlam, and they showed it happen at SummerSlam. Bertha Faye winning the title from Alundra Blaze. I mean,
the title's not going to be around much longer.
No, it's not 2 more months. And then
I can't wait to review that Nitro episode. I know you're going to have a lot to say. I know you're going to have a lot to say about that.
I already know who's winning that one.
Yeah. So.
But I do know in a couple of weeks Raw's going to win one, but I'm not going to give it away now. This match was cheesy. Like I said, if you had the Battle Royal as the main event, you could have rivaled who actually won the night. But because this was the main event, hands down, no.
Well, Alundra Blaze gets her title back, though, at least.
Yeah, after Bertha Faye collides with Harvey and she does a German suplex pin and Alundra Blaze gets her title. Great. Who are you going to defend it against?
Then, nobody. Then Bertha went after Harvey, right?
Yeah, she chases him down the aisle. So after she leaves, Alundra Blaze celebrating with the title. Now there's pretty much going to be just one woman in the division. Who are you going to face? Who knows? To close out the night, Jim Ross interviewed Shawn Michaels about what happened the night before it in your house,
about the beating, yeah,
forfeiting the IC title to Douglas. Yeah,
remember Bret Hart said that at the Slammies.
Yep, I remember. And then this is where I told you, I believe the makeup because all of a sudden his black eye is practically nothing no more. But if you look the night before,
oh yeah, it was like yeah, he had like a contact lens on or something the night before, right?
Yeah. So it was a good interview from Shawn Michaels, but to close it out with this segment,
talks about how he's crazy. He's like, I'm not. Whatever he said, I'm paraphrasing here. He said something about how he's not, the smartest guy or something, but that he's gonna do what he has to do. I thought the promo was fine, but like you were saying, as far as the night, I mean,
on the rating, as far as the ratings go, Nitro had a 2.6, Raw had a 2.2. So you had almost 5 million wrestling fans watching out there.
You don't like you said though. It goes back to what you say. You don't have the champion on there. You
don't
have the champion. You have Hogan. Say what you want to say about Hogan at this point. I understand Hulkamania wasn't really running wild in '95, but
yeah,
he's still there, and you have some good storylines going with the Dungeon and the Giant.
But you have no Diesel and no Bret on Raw.
Yeah,
and you got all these top guys out there week after week on Nitro. Yeah.
So, what's the score?
We both agree that Nitro won this night, so now it's 6-1.
Jesus Christ. And that's one more for the good
guys. Maybe next week, as I'm looking at the main events for both shows, maybe there's a possibility. Maybe.
Okay.
Slim possibility.
At some point, our scores have to deviate. At some point, you're going to say Nitro, I'm going to say Raw, vice versa. But so far,
because I looked at these main events and I had my decision already made before I even watched them.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately, because I saw who was main eventing each show, and I'm like, oh no.
I'm telling you, man. As we go through this, and again, it's very early. It's very early in our reviews of the Monday Night Wars. But as we go through this, there's a lot of almost revisionist history where people were saying that. Oh, that Nitro was garbage and WCW was garbage until the NWO got there. And as we're watching this, Nitro has been better.
So far, it is. I'm not saying that it's not going to happen. Come, the middle of beginning of '96 with the whole alliance to end Hulkamania. Right. I'm not saying it's not going to get cheesy.
Right.
But as of right now, Bischoff's putting out something that's definitely got people looking over and going, "Oh, what's that?"
Yeah,
that's more interesting than Avatar.
Yep.
And Bert the Fay, because why? No Diesel, no Bret. No top guys on your show.
Yep, exactly. All right, well, that's a review. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you guys soon.
Take care.